Hey guys, what's up? It's Jonathan with Rev Free Moto. Today I wanted to talk about something really important. Here in Virginia, the temperatures here, it's January, and the temperatures have been really warm. We had cold for a while, but now it's in the 50s. It was actually 55 degrees today, and I'm actually hoping to get out and ride some tomorrow. It's supposed to be in the 50s again tomorrow. But over the weekend, there was a motorcycle fatality in our area, and a lot of times these crashes are so preventable. I've been a first responder for over 21 years. I'm certified in advanced crash reconstruction and motorcycle crash reconstruction. And for many years of my career, over 7 years, I was very involved in reconstructing fatal crashes, to include motorcycle crashes. And so what's interesting is a lot of people think that ride, I've been riding for over 22 years. And a lot of people that ride think that we have to ride super in fear of other motorists because they could come over into your lane, they could pull out in front of you. There's a lot of things that are dangerous about riding in traffic, and you have to ride defensively. You kind of have to pretend that you're invisible. But a lot of the motorcycle crashes that resulted in serious injury or fatalities, people being killed, are 100% preventable, and oftentimes the fault of the motorcycle rider. And so today I want to talk about the top 5 ways that motorcyclists are causing their own death. And so hopefully if you listen to these reasons, then you can stay alive and not become a statistic yourself. I wanted to do this video because I know that there's a lot of brothers and sisters I have out there that ride, and I want to make sure that you stay alive to go home to your families. So let's get right into it. The very first thing that is absolutely hands down the top reason that motorcyclists are causing their own deaths out here is speed, going way too fast. And it's one thing to just hit a straight stretch, pick up the speed for a little bit, and then kind of simmer it down. But if you're speeding all the time, especially in high traffic areas with intersections and things like that, now over in Europe they have roundabouts, a lot more of those and less of these square intersections or T intersections like we have in the United States. And so with these intersections comes the danger of obviously someone pulling out in front of you, turning left in front of you, or turning right in front of you, whatever. And so when you're exceeding the speed limit by a lot, the average driver will see a motorcycle, and in their mind they'll say, okay, the speed limit's 35, 40, something like that, and they'll say, I see that motorcycle, I see that it's far away, and I'm safe to turn, because with their reasoning as an experienced driver, it's safe to assume that. What they don't know is that the motorcyclist is going 80, 90, 100 miles an hour, foolishly in a 35, 45 mile per hour zone. And so the motorcyclist, sees a car turn in front of them, and they have no time to react. The other driver has no clue that there's a motorcycle about to crash into the side of their vehicle. And ultimately it ends either in the motorcyclist being killed or being severely injured. And that's completely 100% preventable. If you just respect the speed limits and ride defensively and slow down, especially in high traffic, urban, populous areas, you really need to be careful. If you don't know the roads, back roads are very dangerous if you're exceeding the speed limit by a lot. If it's a 55 mile per hour speed limit and you're cooking through these curves and trying to hit 80, 90 miles per hour, and you screw up because you misjudge the what's called the critical curve radius of a turn, then you're gonna fly off the side of the road, and who knows what you're gonna hit, right? You could hit a guardrail, you could hit trees, you could hit a mailbox, any of these things can be fatal for a motorcyclist. And so speed is the number one thing that causes the death of motorcyclists. and they're causing it themselves. So if we would just slow down and enjoy the ride and be smart about it and keep the excessive speed to the track, then it's gonna, your chances of survival are gonna go way, way up. So the second leading cause of death that I've seen in my years as a advanced crash reconstructionist is alcohol. And that's also extremely preventable. Don't drink and ride. Don't ride under the influence of alcohol or drugs, because when you are riding under the influence of alcohol or drugs, then you're going to make impaired decisions. Your reactions are going to be delayed. Your responses are going to be slowed down. And so, you might blow right through a red light, for example, or if someone does pull out in front of you, you may not hit the brakes in time, things like that. So I'd say at least half of all motorcycle crashes, according to my own experience, but also according to research that's been done, over half of motorcycle crashes that involve fatalities, the rider was a 0.08% BAC, blood alcohol content, or higher. So if you're going to drink, do not drink and ride. It's foolish. It's like playing with fire or matches and gasoline, or a lighter and gasoline. It's absolutely the dumbest thing you can do, is to ride or operate any vehicle really under the influence of drugs or alcohol. The third thing that I have seen that causes motorcyclists to die with their own behavior is just absolutely reckless, idiotic, foolish behavior. And what I mean by that is, you gotta, and it's not just sport bikes, right? It can be cruisers or any kind of bike. All it takes is an idiot behind the handlebars to pop a wheelie in traffic, and not have the experience needed to do it, or do it at the wrong time, and it causes a crash that kills them. They go right into an oncoming tractor trailer or something like that. In addition, doing things like endos or stoppies, passing a vehicle on a double yellow line over a hill crest because they're not going fast enough for you, because you're on a motorcycle and you can go fast. Passing on a blind curve, over a double yellow with no clear line of sight. These are the things that, impatience, reckless, machismo, just idiotic, reckless behavior causes so many motorcyclists to either become seriously injured in a crash or get killed because of their own foolish behavior. And I get it. We want to have fun out here, and it's fun to be on a fast bike, but when you do things that are dumb and you don't know how to control it and you don't have the experience, then it's going to cause something catastrophic to occur. So, keep the foolery to, a safe place. If you're going to try endos and wheelies, it's got to be a controlled environment. It's got to be a closed off parking lot, and be careful about that, because some states have laws about reckless driving even on private property. But a track is really the most safe place if you're going to try any kind of stunts or things like that. It's got to be a controlled event. If you try it out in the public roadways, then it's really taking a gamble and a risk with your own life. It's writing checks that you may cash with your own butt. The fourth thing that I've seen in my experience as a crash reconstructionist that causes motorcyclists to die at their own hands is inexperience. And it's what I mean by inexperience is, if you have a brand new rider, you can make a mistake and you could run off the right side of the road because you fixate on something, right? Like you fixate on a sign, or you fixate on maybe a pretty girl, or a really nice car, or another bike that you see on the side of the road, something that distracts you. And you're fixated on that item, that thing on the side of the road, and it could cause you to run off the side of the road. Also, riding the back roads, riding the twisties, and not having that experience of being able to hit the apex properly and dumping the speed before you get into a curve. So you're going into a speed with into a curve with way too much speed. That can cause you to crash. But also, riding inexperienced and trying to keep up with others can be a problem. So ask yourself this: if you have a brand new rider, a rookie rider, that is riding with you in a small group, maybe just two people, where should that rider be? Should they be in the back where they're trying to catch up with the experienced rider the whole time? Or should they be in the front where they're setting the pace? And so that's a question that I'll let you answer. But if you're going to put them in the back, you need to make sure that you set a very slow, very leisurely, very controllable pace so that they can keep up. I would advise you to put them in the front, and here's why. They can set the pace. They can see more. If you're number 2 in a riding stack, you don't see as much as if you're the first rider in the very front. And so if you're going to ride with someone else who's very new to riding, I'd strongly encourage you to have a conversation, a safety conversation before that ride, and tell them, like, look, hey, don't try to impress me. Just take it easy. Let's enjoy the ride. I'll be behind you, and I'm going to keep a safe distance. So, you take it at your own pace and your own skill level. That's the way to ride with a new rider. If you put them in the back, then their vision can be obscured. They can't see as much of the roadway. And again, they might feel the pressure that they need to try to keep up with the more experienced rider. I've seen that lead to someone's death. A boyfriend and a girlfriend were out riding, and the girlfriend was trying to keep up and ran off the road in a curve trying to keep up with the boyfriend who was leading. And it's sad because these people, sometimes the people that are learning to ride, they're later in life, their 40s and 50s, and a little bit older, and they've never ridden a motorcycle before. It's a huge learning curve. It takes many years to acquire a skill set that is good to go and reliable. So inexperience, be cautious if you're a new rider, and take it easy. Don't ride beyond your abilities ever. Never exceed 80% of your ability. And lastly, the thing that I've seen killing motorcyclists and causing major injuries is group riding behavior. And so, a lot of times it's fun to get in a large group setting, poker runs and charity rides, and group rides are really fun. The problem with group rides is that even if you're the best rider in the world, peer pressure can take over, and reckless behavior can start, right? So you may have a group of, let's say you have a group of 5 or 6 riders, not a real big group. You might have the guys in the front, they take off at the stoplight and they're going as fast as they can, 100, 60, 70, 80, 100 miles an hour. And you're just trying to keep up with them to stay in the group, right? Because you don't want to be the one left behind. If you're older and wiser, you probably just be like, screw this. I'm not going to ride with these fools. I'm not about that. And just detach. But also, if it's a larger group, like let's say you're trying to keep 20 motorcycles together, well, that becomes really dangerous because you might have a light turn red, and now you got, the first 8 riders made it through, and now you got 12 more behind the red light. And what are they, some of them might try to run it, some of them might not. So I've seen that before, where people, it's like this group mentality, and we all have to stay together, and they'll blow through traffic lights and just do stupid life-risking things just to keep up with their buddies, which is dumb. So there's that in group riding, but also when you start taking a large group through, back roads and twisty turns and things like that, now you have different skill levels at play. So you have riders that are slowing up the riders behind them. The other riders want to go faster, so they're riding too closely to the rider in front of them, so you'll have rear end crashes happening. Then you'll have the accordion effect, where all the motorcyclists will take off and everybody's trying to keep up, and they're all, you know, like, it's like an accordion, right? They're all getting ripped apart, and then suddenly at the front of all the riders, everybody's got to slow down, and then everybody's like, you know, slamming on the brakes, and then the accordion collapses again, and that's when the rear end crashes happen and people get hurt and killed. I've also seen group ride situations where you know, on a twisty road, where two groups will come and meet each other, and two motorcyclists will be distracted by the overwhelming experience of it all and run off into the other group, where one group, a motorcyclist, you know, runs off the road into several other motorcyclists. And so, like, that's catastrophic. That's absolutely horrible. Multiple riders might be injured or killed. So group riding can be extremely dangerous. And honestly, like, my favorite thing is, if I'm going to ride, it's not going to be with a large group, if I'm going to ride with a group at all. My favorite thing is to ride by myself, but every now and then I will do a group ride just for fun. I just have to have the right group setting. If it's a bunch of guys that are going to ride like fools, I'm out. That's not me. My life is too important to me. I'm not going to die just trying to keep up with the idiot in front of me. And so those are the 5 things that motorcyclists do the most often that cause their own death. And this is based on my years of experience reconstructing these crashes. And so you can take it from me. This is that in over 21 years as a first responder, I've only seen one motorcycle crash that was completely, the motorcyclist was killed and he was completely doing nothing wrong. He was obeying the speed limit, just riding down the road, minding his own business. And in that case, the other driver lost control of his vehicle and took him out. And I actually was under the influence of alcohol, the other driver was. So there was still alcohol involved in that crash, but not at the fault of the motorcyclist. So there is still the chance that it's just your day, right? But there's a huge amount of things that you can do to survive out here and to be able to ride another day, and to not become a statistic and not become, you know, squished on the pavement and end your life trying to ride a motorcycle. So slow down, stay away from drugs and alcohol when you are riding your motorcycle. Obey the speed limit, stay close to the speed limit. Really, really watch the speed limit in urban and congested areas. Don't drink and ride. Don't use drugs and ride. Keep the reckless and foolish stunt-like behavior and passing, to a minimum, and don't do it at all unless you're on a track or a controlled environment. And then if you don't have experience, then don't ride outside your ability, and don't let others push you beyond your comfort level, beyond your skill level, because it could cost you literally your life. And then lastly, be very cautious with group riding behavior, because if you're not with the right group, then it can influence, if you're somebody that's easily influenced by others' behavior, then you need to really be careful in a group riding experience because it can influence your behavior to do foolish things. I hope these things help you. I hope that you find them valuable. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, Rev Free Moto, then what are you waiting for? Please consider subscribing. Give this video a like. This is just something I wanted to do to help you as my fellow motorcyclist to stay alive and to not become a statistic. God bless, and I appreciate you watching. Stay safe out there, guys. We'll see you in the next video.